Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Alan Shearer and me, Gary Lineker. Micah is obviously covering the Arsenal-Manchester City game. We are doing this part of the episode before the Arsenal-Manchester City game. Alan was going to join us for that, and we were all going to do it together. Because Alan was going to be home in time to watch the Arsenal-Manchester City game because he's been to Kansas for the Premier League. Alan's things have not gone according to plan because where are you?
I'm still stuck in America. I got one flight from Kansas to Dallas. I'm going to have to apologise for my swearing because I am so fucking angry. It's untrue. Oh, God. So,
What happened?
Oh, what happened? Where do I start? So yesterday finished. I'm discombobulated. I don't even know what day it is. I don't know what time it is or anything. I got the flight from Kansas to Dallas, of which then I was meant to get on the Dallas flight an hour later to Heathrow. And American Airlines it was. And we stood and waited at the gate for an hour. I was thinking, okay, probably going to miss my connecting flight from Heathrow to Newcastle, but that's fine. I'll jump in a car. I'll get across to King's Cross or something like that. That's fine, whatever. Stood waiting another hour. So 2 hours, we're still waiting to get on the flight. Apparently, there was a problem with the seats, and then there was a problem with the air conditioning. But then we get on the flight, and I'm thinking, okay, fine, at least we're on the flight. 2 fucking hours later, we're still sat on the. I'd watched a film. I watched a full film while we're still delayed.
Yeah,
and he says there's still a problem with the paperwork. Then the pilot had timed out or something like that.
Pilot timed out.
Pilot timed out. They had to get another pilot, and then 45 minutes later. We get the call, we're going to have to all get off the plane. The flight has been cancelled just before midnight. And I don't know, 300-400 people getting off that flight. And the poor women with the young children. And I have to say that the lack of communication and the lack of effort from the American Airlines staff was disgusting. It really was. I mean, I was okay. I could Google where a hotel was, could jump in a taxi. I met 2 lovely blokes. One was who were business partners, lawyers. They sort of grabbed hold of me, said, come on, we've booked ourselves into a hotel about 7 or 8 miles away. You can jump in a taxi if you want. One was a Spurs fan and one's a Brentford fan. And they were lovely guys. And I've just actually watched the Newcastle game with them downstairs on my iPad.
Lads, yeah.
2 English guys, yeah. They'd been in a conference. Can you believe American Airlines sent them an email and put them on a flight meant to be at 7 o'clock this morning? I mean, we're doing this at 10 o'clock, so we're 6 hours behind where I am. They tried to put them on a flight at 7 a.m. after being cancelled at half midnight to Pittsburgh with a 10-hour stopover in Pittsburgh.
Oh, God.
And you can imagine how angry those guys are. I've managed to get myself on a flight. So it's now 10 o'clock. I've got another 6 hours before I get on a flight from Dallas here to Paris. And then I've got to get from Paris to Newcastle. It's oh my God, I hate traveling. I really do.
It's the worst.
I mean, honestly, as soon as they said the problem with the seats, then it was the air conditioning. I thought, there's something not quite right here. But then to get us on the plane and sit us there for 2 hours on the plane and then say we have to get off was just disgusting. It really wasn't. As I said, the poor people who had young children. Yeah. In the end, I just said, "Oh fuck it, I'm off. I'm out of here. I've got to get out." And I jumped in the taxi with the two lawyer guys, lovely guys, and managed to find a hotel. I was just thinking, it's going to be my luck. I'm going to get to this hotel. They're going to say, "Sorry, we're full." But they managed to get me a little room, and that's my Kansas was great for 2 days. The Premier League event was great for 2 days. Yeah, but the travelling on the way over there, I went via Chicago. I had an hour and a half to get off one plane and onto the other. 2.5 hours later, I was still in immigration. I missed that flight as well.
Really?
Had to get on
did you
another
flag
flight
up?
for
Did you
3
flag up?
hours.
Oh,
No, I didn't. I was
you're
all
not
right.
anti-Trump, are you? And all that flagging up again. Well, it's very plucky of you to get on here, although you probably actually want to do something rather than sit there just waiting.
I was actually nodding. I was nodding watching that Newcastle. I mean, that was.
I was going to say, at least you had that silver lining in the cloud to watch that spectacular performance and football match against Bournemouth.
Honestly, I was sat there with the two guys. I was like that. I was my head's nodding. I was nodding. I was thinking, oh, come on, give me a bit of excitement. But it points a good result at Bournemouth, but it was a pretty drab and dire game, wasn't it? It was awful.
It wasn't great. I thought actually the first half an hour was all right. It was quite end to end, and it was quite a good pace to it. And then it just kind of petered out, and nothing. Do you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, Alan's going to do this podcast in a minute. Bournemouth are going to score. You know, right near the end, they got a free kick on the edge of the box. And,
terrible decision.
Pope
The handball.
The handball. It was ludicrous, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and they
it was
wouldn't
awful.
have been able to turn it over because it was not a penalty. It was just outside. And I was thinking, Alan's going to go absolutely ballistic if this goes in, because he blasted it at him from about a yard.
Yeah,
he had his hands by his side. It was just ludicrous.
I would have told you where to go if that had gone in and we had been beaten 1-0. I just wouldn't have come on. I think I would have been in. I think I've been remarkably calm.
Yeah.
Which I just keep telling myself, come on, no one's poorly, no one's ill, no one's hurt. Just try and grin and bear it and get on with it. But it's been tough to feel that way, but it's been hard at times.
Well, good to see you've still got a smile on your face. I can see the funny side. You'll get home one day, Al.
I don't know when.
Not sure when that will be.
I'm due to get back into Newcastle at about 4:00 Monday afternoon. I think that's my schedule.
Wow. Anyway, well, safe travels, Alan. But when you're hearing this, everyone, it'll be Monday, and it's self-explanatory that Alan hasn't seen the Arsenal City game. I'll do that with Micah in the second half of this podcast. I think he would have liked to have heard that story, but he's going to miss it because he's grafting on that game. So let's.
Where was the last one I did? It must be travel and me. The last one, I remember when I had to get on the train. At least there's no Sunderland supporters this time as well.
Oh no! Well, they drew as well against.
They drew,
Aston
good
Villa.
Result. 10 men as well. Good result for them.
I know. Ollie Watkins had a fantastic chance right near the end.
Did he? I didn't say. I was just watching the Newcastle game. Yeah.
The Cash goal, the Matty Cash goal, was their first of the Premier League season, and that was probably a goalkeeping error. Ollie Watkins probably should have won it. It was just didn't get enough of his head on it, if any at all. So you would have seen Saturday's games or one or two of them. Let's start with the Liverpool game, the Merseyside Derby, which, for the first half an hour, I thought, Liverpool look really good here.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then a little bit similar perhaps to one or two of the other games this season. They conceded and then they were a little bit edgy. I thought Everton played really well in the second half because I worried at half time that they might get thumped.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought, you look at Liverpool's bench with Isak and Wirtz. What is it, 105 and 125 million, both on the bench. That is serious firepower. But Ekitike, wow. I thought he was brilliant again. And I agree, actually. I thought Liverpool were really good in the first 20, 25 minutes. Yeah. Passed it around, looked impressive. But then it was Everton's game in the second half. I thought they got the goal. And I thought they were the better team in that second half. But Liverpool hung on, didn't play well. But again, similar theme to what's been happening in the first 4 games. But sort of got the points without playing really well, particularly second half, I was going to say again, is it a bit of a worry? I don't think so. It has to be a positive, doesn't it?
I don't think it's a worry at all.
Yeah, no.
If you're doing that when you're not absolutely flying, you've won 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Then I don't understand why people are saying this is an issue for them. I not at all. I think it's a bonus because you're also nurturing in new players. And also, of course, that you're working out your best team as well, slot at the moment, trying to get the different balance with different players. I think it's a really positive. I can't see any negative side to it. Obviously, you want to go out and, all guns are blazing and playing glorious football and win 5-0. But we all know football's not like that. It never is, particularly early in the season. But if you can get off to that kind of kind of start where already, and we're discussing this, obviously I've said many times that we're discussing this before the Arsenal City game. I mean, if Arsenal don't beat City, then there's a pretty big gap already.
No, absolutely.
At this stage of the season. So, but yeah, I think it's very positive. I mean, I think Gravenberch is getting all the attention at the moment. He's had a brilliant start to the season.
What a finish. What a goal.
Brilliant
what
goal, wasn't it?
Amazing,
lovely ball
wasn't
from
it?
Salah, and I mean, to finish it like that was
brilliant. It was
superb.
Fantastic finish. As was Ekitike's. His touch, that little touch was the one that it made, because it doesn't allow the goalkeeper to set himself, does it? No. So he's still trying to get himself right and shift himself into the position, whereas he's taken the shot early, and that's why it's sort of gone through his legs, because he's not allowed him to get ready. And I thought it was a brilliant touch and a great finish from Ekitike, as obviously Gravenberch's was.
Yeah, I wonder what Isak's thinking sitting on the bench there. I mean, because he'll want to play that role, but I think Ekitike could probably play on the left, and I think Isak, we know, can play on the left, and I think they might do that, but then they might have that slight situation of Real Madrid when they had Vinicius Junior and Mbappe on, but both wanted to play on the left. But in the end, Mbappe is the one that's converted to a 9, and they might have I'm not saying they're that level, but they could be. They could. But
then you've got Wirtz in there as well, who I mean, it was interesting, and I think it was the right choice that he went back to his tried and trusted 3. Rather than in the Merseyside Derby, because you know what it's like. It was always going to be 100 mile an hour, and he went back to what worked so well for them with those 3 in midfield and sort of left Wirtz out. So yeah, you're right. I mean, the talent they've got in forward positions and midfield is just incredible at Liverpool.
They've got to be strong favourites. I thought Everton really did themselves justice, as we've already said. But I thought that, particularly in the wide areas, I thought Njai and Jack Grealish in particular were both terrific.
Yeah, both a threat. Really, really good. It was a great finish from Idrissa Gueye, wasn't it? But Everton played really well, but Liverpool take all the points again.
They do. They had a bit of a gripe at the end, didn't they? And we should probably talk about it when they got a yellow card.
A
yellow card for taking a quick free kick. Now, they should be encouraged. This is one of my
I've heard you say it loads of times.
That what we need in the game is for free kicks to be taken a damn sight quicker, because at the moment it takes like a minute for everyone gets organised. The referee has to wait. He tells them to wait, this and that. Everyone gets back. And they're talking about trying to get rid of time wasting. The referees are the biggest time wasters of all, because they want everything to be so slow and long. What we should have in football is the right to take a free kick as quickly as you possibly want to. Yeah. Because it should be the team that gets fouled, they should have some sort of advantage. But at the moment, they don't. So someone gets fouled, like that happened yesterday, they take a quick free kick and then they get a yellow. They're penalised. They've got double penalised.
Unless you're taking it from a ridiculous spot, which was 20 or 30 yards nearer the goal or something like that, then there is no need to. Why does the referee have to set himself? You're absolutely right. You're the team that's been punished. You're the team that's had the foul given for you, then you're getting booked for taking a quick free kick from the spot. It's just madness.
I totally agree with you. Let's move on. Manchester United, Chelsea. There's a bit going on in that one. I mean, what a start. I mean, the fantasy things, we're not the experts, but we both got Sanchez in our team, and he got himself, I think, get -2 points or something. After just a few, what was he thinking?
Well, even the keeper that came on, it was 2 terrible errors, I thought, from both goalkeepers. One, obviously, Sanchez getting sent off, and then the other keeper coming on, not coming for that high ball when it was clearly he had to come and get rid of it. He was an advantage more than anyone else to come and punch it. But it was always going to be tough, and I was a tad surprised that he took Neto off. I really was, because of his. He was the one I thought, if he's going to keep someone on, it's actually going to be him because of his pace. Because if you win the ball back on the counter attack, he was the one that they would keep on. But it all seemed rather confusing in terms of making the subs. Then after that, changing the system.
And the other strange thing, Alan, is that is the Cole Palmer. Not the fact he took him off because obviously he's got a niggle in that groin area, but apparently he went into the game knowing that he got a bit of a.
Really?
But well, that's the story that's breaking today. Whether that's absolutely true, I can't confirm. But if that is the case, then that would be a strange.
Yeah, it was all strange. System changes, substitutions, who and what they were. Yeah, I was very surprised and said it at the time, thinking, "Wow, Neto off. That was it." Yeah. I thought it was a big gamble. Yeah, but I thought Man United played well. I thought they showed great character, because they were under massive pressures. When Casemiro got sent off, I'm thinking, if Chelsea get an early goal in that second half, then the pressure's right on.
I was watching the game and I said 2-0 up Man United. I said the only way they can mess this up is if someone gets sent off.
Yeah. And do you think it was harsh?
I thought it was very harsh.
Yeah. I thought
at the same time, Alan, if you've had a yellow card and into the current climate where they give yellow cards for breathing heavily, you've got to be careful. So he's an experienced fella. Yeah. He's been around for a long time, and you think to yourself, just be cautious. But I do think he actually will. I mean, it was just he had his arm on him. I don't think it was a yellow. And I thought Alan Smith in commentary was quite right. I think if you're going to send someone off as a second yellow card, it needs to be pretty sure. As a yellow, personally.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me when he did, but you're right. You can't give the referee the opportunity to even it up. But I did think it was a tad harsh. And then I'm thinking, here we go, if they get an early goal. But even, the manager, Amorim, is under huge pressure. Mm. And I thought his players did really well for him for second half. I thought they dug deep. They rolled their sleeves up. Yeah, I think if he wanted to know whether they're still with him or not, I think that sort of give him the answer. That'll give him a bit of relief, actually. A great 3 points for them, and had to work very hard for it. But I think if he needed to know, then I think that performance will tell him that his players are still with him.
You need something to give you a little bit of a spark, don't you? Something to change, a little bit of good fortune, and maybe that moment of madness from Sanchez just changed things. And then they did play really well, admittedly against 10 men. And then when United were down to 10 men as well, Chelsea were the better side, but they were chasing the game. But I thought United defended valiantly, and
Me too.
I kept saying they're going to get one here, and it's going to be nervy for them.
Yeah. It was they did well. I thought it was back to the wall stuff, and they had to defend and work hard as a team. And that was a good sign for the manager, I think.
Yeah, totally agree. I thought Spurs looked good again. I mean, they were 2-0 down against Brighton, and you thought, that might be another defeat. But I thought they played some really good football, came back well. I think encouraging start for Thomas Frank. They got the victory that you saw them play. I know it wasn't a very good game against Villarreal, but good result. He seems to have got them pretty. I mean, I know they conceded two.
Kuda's done well again. I thought he was
really
a
good, didn't
threat. He's a real threat, wasn't he? Yeah, 2-0 down. You're always going to take 2-2, but I thought they were worthy of a point. And Thomas Frank's made a really good start there, hasn't he?
I think Simons will do all right as well.
Yeah.
He had a couple of opportunities where he perhaps could have done better with the finish, but he was busy and looked a threat as well.
We weren't as tight defensively yesterday, but I thought there was plenty of good signs in terms of being 2 down and coming back and getting the point. So
and also after a Champions League game as well, and playing on a Saturday, which is not that, we know that's not that easy. So
totally agree, yeah.
I think lots to be happy about, I think, for Tottenham fans at the moment. By contrast, not much to be happy about if you're a Wolves fan. Sorry, producer John. He was.
I was texting, wasn't I? Say, what is going on, John? It's like 1-0 up and then bang, 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 wasn't it? It was like bang. It was what a terrible result.
Yeah, losing at home to one of the promoted teams as well. In fact, all the promoted teams are making a bit of a fist of it at the moment.
They are.
Making odds. Burnley got a good point yesterday against
when you
Forest.
look at the comparison to last year and how they really struggled. It took forever to get for one of them to get their first win. So all three of them are doing well.
Yeah, I think you'd probably be a bit concerned for Wolves, a bit concerned for Brentford as well.
It's a big statement as well, giving the manager a new contract, wasn't it?
I was going to ask you about
after
that.
4 games not winning, but giving him the contract, signing that, and then
when you get,
Leeds.
when you always hear, don't you, a vote of confidence from the board, they used to call it, and now it's obviously the owners. Well, that is a vote of confidence. A new contract is a vote of confidence, isn't it?
You don't know what's in the contract. You don't know what can be, how they can get out of it, do you? So does it really mean anything? Yeah, no. I guess, not a lot.
Yeah, I think Micah will be quite bullish about, because obviously Leeds is one of his
7 teams, isn't it, or 8 teams? What is it?
Yeah, but they've done
well. Leeds
done pretty well. I thought
absolutely great result. After being 1-0 down.
Yeah, the free kick from Anton Stack was blimey, beauty, wasn't it?
Bit special, wasn't it?
Absolutely,
fantastic strike. Yeah,
and good for Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well to get a goal. I mean, hopefully it's not another fault. If he can stay fit, we know there's a player in there.
And that's the big thing. Staying fit with him. They know that if they can get balls up to him and into him, then he will score goals. But it's a big if he can stay fit. Yeah,
it certainly is. Alan, I'm going to come back after the Arsenal-Manchester City game and talk to Micah. By that stage, I hope your travel plans are not disrupted once again.
Don't know where I'll be, at what part of the world, at what time, or whatever. Depends on what fucking American airlines have got in for me in the next 36 hours. We'll see.
Well, I hope have you got a first class seat at least, I hope?
I've got business, Gary.
Business. Well, you won't get upgraded. You won't get upgraded after this.
They might not let me on again. Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't think this will go out. Well, who knows though? How long?
I know exactly where I'll be. I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, safe travels, and let us know when you get home.
Cheers. If I ever do.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
We'll take a break and I'll be back with Micah shortly. This episode of The Rest is Football is powered by NordVPN. With the new season underway, we're online more than ever. Premature fantasy wildcards, ticket hunts, transfer gossip, usually on Wi-Fi you probably shouldn't trust. And judging by the headlines, it's not just football fans turning to VPNs at the moment. Lads, any close calls so far?
Couple. I mean, when we're doing a fantasy football in the pub, and you get any team together, midfielders in, attackers in, defence. But most importantly, the captain, making sure nobody can see my captain's choice.
Yeah, it's generally pretty predictable, I would say, though, man.
Well, I keep refreshing my phone in terms of the transfer gossip that's around as well.
Yeah, that's where NordVPN comes in. It hides your IP, encrypts your data, and keeps everything you do online private, even on public or hotel Wi-Fi. No tracking, no snooping, no hackers, no people seeing your captain. Think of it like keeping a clean sheet online. Secure, private, sorted. To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/restisfootball. Our link will also give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link's in the podcast episode description box. Welcome back to The Rest is Football. Now it's with Micah Richards, who's in the back of a car. Hopefully his journey will not be as traumatic as that of Alan, who couldn't manage to see the Arsenal-Man City game, Micah, because he's had an absolute shocker, which he's told us all about in the first half of this thing. But he's had to go because he might possibly get a flight at some point later on. Back from Kansas.
Shame. He serves him right. I won't let you tell me the story because I'll listen to the first half. But shame on him.
No, I felt for him a bit. In fact, he's been hanging around nearly as long as you were on air.
Until 8 o'clock. It was a long old day today. I mean, it wasn't enjoyable, to be honest. But it was on for till 8 o'clock. We started at 1 o'clock on air, so long old day.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't the best games today, even the Arsenal-Man City game. I thought it was interesting, very interesting. I thought that, and obviously Arsenal getting a point out of it when it all looked lost was massively important for them. So what did you? I mean, yeah, you've talked to death, Micah, but what did you make of it overall? Your feelings as someone who supports both teams.
I agree with you. I didn't think it was the best game. I actually thought it was quite intriguing tactically. I thought Arsenal started very well. It looked like they was up for it. Rotations and Calafiori coming into midfield and then sort of overloading Man City in that area. But it was like roles reversing. You remember Arsenal back in the big games, let's say, they would go normally into a low block and then try and counter, on that transition. So it was a strange game, but when Haaland scored, it was the exact opposite. We'll talk about the goal. Reinders, we mentioned so many times, but his awareness and the weight of the pass, because it looked like
the timing of it as well.
Correct. It looked like he was going one way and then goes to Haaland. Haaland goes through, looks like he's going to shoot or try going on the outside of his left foot, but he goes on his right foot. I just thought it was a really well worked goal from Man City's point of view, because I've not seen that from Man City. Yes, we've seen Man City counter-attack loads before, but like in that manner, it was almost like roles reversed. So that's what I thought was intriguing to start with. But after that, it was Man City going to a 5-4-1.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, it just shows you, though, doesn't it? Even the most confident coaches and astute tacticians can, and the best obviously can, they can adapt to circumstances. And he obviously felt they were the right circumstances, albeit they got hit by a ball that actually got in behind him. Fantastic paths with Eze. And I saw you debating with the guys on when, and I thought you were absolutely spot on about when they should drop off. But the problem is, of course, if you play in a high line and there's no pressure at all on the ball, like with Eze had all the time, so they can't actually guess when he's going to hit it. If you've got pressure on the ball, you can. And that's the fundamental difference. So you could understand why they were hesitant and didn't know when to drop. And they were willing to drop. It wasn't like they were trying to push the other way, like we see some teams play with a high line, but they just got the timing slightly wrong. Martinelli timed his run perfectly, and Eze's pass was exquisite. And it was a brilliant finish. I thought Donnarumma, who was brilliant in the game and has been since he joined, the couple of games that he's played. But he just got caught. He's just what you want. When you go through with a goalkeeper one-on-one like that, the one thing you want them to do is be in the no man's land. You don't want them on their 6-yard box, because then there's no way he could have finished first time and it would have been more difficult. But I think he was anticipating the through ball and then had to drop. It was a little bit like the positioning of Sanchez in the sending off for Chelsea. He went forward, he went back, he ended it in no man's land. Then he took a chance and made a really rash and bad decision. But Donnarumma didn't do that, but it was still a brilliant finish from Martinelli, wasn't it?
It was excellent, especially because the whole debate before the game was who were going to play that left-hand side. Yeah. Obviously, Martinelli against Athletic Club scored when in that game. And is he going to play Eze there? He went with Trossard. So
I was really surprised at that.
Everyone was surprised because we were thinking, but if you actually look in the game, Eze against Athletic Club, basically his defensive work wasn't right at times. He didn't know when to push up or when to drop. But he's a luxury, not a luxury player, but he's a player who wants to get on the ball. He doesn't want to spend loads of time running back. So I understand maybe I'm going to get overrun by Man City today. Maybe that's the reason why he went there. But just quickly going back to the goal on that, guys, I think you are spot on. The pass was brilliant. The timing of the run was perfect. But Man City had been dealing with everything throughout the game. Throughout the game. So Martinelli's best asset is running in behind. That's what he loves to do. So I'm thinking as a defender, especially when you bring in the brought on Akin, the brought on Stones, just give yourself an extra yard. Just an extra yard. Just give yourself an extra yard, because that's what Arsenal are trying to do. But let's not take away anything from the pass and the finish. We're going to see goals
in football, but I just think it was quite naive for the experience of Man City defenders at that moment in the game.
Totally agree. It was a surprise because it looked like they got the game done. Arsenal didn't really look like scoring. They had a couple of efforts, but towards the latter stage, it didn't look like it was going to happen. I loved Haaland's goal. I mean, you talked about it a minute ago, but when you play slightly high and Haaland gets moving, oh my goodness. I'm not going to compare myself with Haaland here at all, but I see there are similarities in the style of the. I was exactly the same. I love to run past defenders and try to get behind them. But have you ever seen anyone when he's in full flow? I mean,
it's ridiculous.
I mean, he might break the 100 meters world record once he gets going. It's just unstoppable. I mean, they're relatively quick defenders. I mean, Gabriel but he just ran away from him like he was standing still. And the great thing as well is, despite the speed that he's running at, in his head, he's very slow and calm. And that's why you've got the mixture of his physicality, his incredible speed, but also the calmness, the coldness, and the intelligence of his finishing, which gives you, a great all-round number 9.
Exactly that. And it's been difficult for Haaland, although he scored so many goals in the Premier League, because he's having a lack of touches within the game. Every touch, people are saying, he can't hold it up, he needs to do it. But he scores goal, and that is exactly the example why Man City bought him from Dortmund, because that's what he used to do week in, week out. He must have been delighted with what I used to run into. If he had that every week, he'd score 50 goals a season, and you're exactly right.
Well, he did 2 seasons ago.
Yes, he did. He would score 60 even. Exactly right in terms of, when he went through one-on-one, I had no doubt in my mind whatsoever that, he might not always score, but he's going to make the goalkeeper work. He's not going to scuff it. He's going to put it in one of the corners, and it was a brilliant finish. A brilliant finish.
He's an absolutely brilliant finisher. There's no question. I mean, people harp upon about that stuff about strikers, particularly perhaps nowadays where there's only one number 9. It used to be you play 4-4-2 or 3-5-2 or whatever. You play perhaps 2 up or 1 up and 1 just off. But nowadays, when you've got 2 relatively wide players, or we'll call them forwards, but in the number 9, you're not going to make darting runs out to the wing like we used to have to. You're not going to run wide into the channels. You're going to stay within the width of the box. Therefore, you're not going to get that much of the ball. And I keep hearing, he's not had many touches. No, but the touches he has will be important. One of them is likely to lead to a goal, and he does a job. And also, you've got to remember, when you've got a striker up, and I talked the same about Harry Kane as well, when when I wanted him to play a little bit higher with England, only because we didn't have players running past him. If you've got players running past Harry Kane, it's great that he drops deep because he's such a wonderful footballer with the ball and he can pass it, but he does need people to run beyond. Haaland's not that player. He's not going to run deep and drop deep and pass the ball around. But when he is there, he also occupies the 2 defenders. Even if they do drop deep, which the majority of the defenders do against Haaland, he's creating space behind him in midfield. There's more space because the defence is deeper. If they're brave enough to play high, Haaland's eyes light up.
They really do.
They do, I'm telling you. Because nobody spins like him because he's unstoppable. So he doesn't actually need to get right on their shoulder and take the chance because he can give you a yard or 2 start.
I totally agree with that. But we have to give an honourable mention to Doku. I think this season it started ever so well. I mean, his decision-making looks a lot better. He looks more confident. He went away with the national team, did well then. And he's been given a run of games to show exactly what he could do. And I thought when he came off, they wasn't the same. Savinho come on as well. I don't think it was the same. But I just feel like the improvement for a young player is on the right track. Same with Nico O'Reilly. at left back. And I thought Kusanov in the first half against Trossard was outstanding. So there's plenty positives from Man City's point of view. But it just looked like Arsenal had a little bit more energy. Maybe that's a couple days more rest in the Champions League. But yeah, there were positives from Man City. Still not at their absolute best. Yeah. And still trying and tweaking different systems. But there were positive signs in the game for Man City today.
Yeah. I loved how you spent the last 15 minutes of the show talking about who's going to win the title after 5 games of the season.
It's always a difficult one, that one.
I mean, Liverpool, 5 wins out of 5, Mike. I've already talked with Alan about their actual performance, but we've already said we thought they played really well in the first half, but then Everton we thought played really well in the second. Jack was terrific and Unjai was great, the 2 wide players. But Liverpool, some firepower.
Liverpool, and we have our predictions before the season. And I thought Man City, after their first game at Wolves, but when Liverpool signed Isak, it could be the difference. And then when you've got the form of Ekitike,
well, he looks fabulous.
And then you've got Gakpo playing well. He looks every player now. Liverpool are not playing well, but they've got players who can change games, and that could be the difference. They look really, really good in moments of the game. So then when all the patterns of play, align, they could be unstoppable force.
Okay, Micah, thanks for joining us after such a long day. We'll call it a day there. So goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me. Have a good week.